Thank you very much, Dracos. Odamne, congrats.
Hey, my name was wrong.
What did he say?
Odamne.
Human beings of the internet, it's week 3 of the Fantasy League. Let's look at our table. Terry, romping ahead still. He's pretty much safe to get through to the group stages. Or the predictions of the group stages, as we follow the LEC. Myself, I'm fighting with Pinky to make sure we don't get eliminated for the last time. D, in the middle. Yeah, absolutely fine. Yeah, see how it goes. Let's look at our predictions for week 3. Match of the week for this week is Fnatic versus Heretics, so let's look at those predictions. D, went for Fnatic win with some Heretics choices. I went to see Pinky go for Heretics winning. Me, I went for Fnatic getting a bulk of the objectives, missing out on just Tower and Herald. Stefan went for a Fnatic win, with Heretics getting First Blood and Dragon. And Terry went for a Heretics sweep. Well, let's see how that goes as we move on to the rundown. Okay, this is day 1, Ryan here. Looking at Astralis versus SK. And, well, SK started off strong, got themselves a dragon, in a very sort of avoidable First Blood game. Heretics, Astralis picked up the Herald. Then First Blood didn't arrive until nearly 12 minutes, as a second champion happened and it went SK's way. But Astralis still had control of the field, control of the Rift, got themselves the bottom tower. And then, with the kills even, and a couple of dragons in, got themselves the Baron as well. And another dragon later, got the kills high up and got the win. We move to game 2 and it's Vitality versus Koi. Vitality with a roster swap in the jungle. Did it change anything? Well, again, pretty cautious game where the dragon got picked up by Koi first and Herald got by Vitality. First Blood was even later, 14 minutes before it eventually went Vitality's way. But again, same sort of situation. Koi were running around the Rift. They got themselves the bottom tower as first. And then in a kill deficit, in a very sparing game, they got themselves Baron. And only really started picking up the kill lead when they came in for the win. Game 3, XL versus G2. And XL, after a 3-0 week last week, which surprised pretty much everyone, got choked out by G2 in this game. That one didn't surprise people. G2 just being very, very strong, and the mistakes that XL normally make get amplified when you've got the strength of G2 there. Is the lessons learnt and, stuff going on? I could see it. But G2 swept the objectives on this. It was just done. That's all really I could do about it. I couldn't really go one objective at a time. It was just that decisive. Let's move on to game 4. And it's BDS versus Fnatic. BDS dropped off a cliff. And, well, up against someone who's risen very high in the film, Fnatic. BDS did get the first dragon though, but Fnatic got First Blood. And the Herald. It was pretty tough. But BDS did get themselves the first tower, even with so many kills down, and they got themselves back into this game enough that they could pick up the first Baron of the game. But it took quite a lot of time afterwards, and after a couple of Elders, one of which picked up by BDS, Fnatic got the win. Last game of Saturday, it's Heretics versus Mad Lions. Heretics needing to pick themselves back up. Mad Lions having to sort themselves out of the shock defeat last week. But Heretics got themselves, let's be honest again, they got themselves everything. Everything. It was just not Mad Lions' game, and not for a lack of trying. But yeah, that's just how it goes. Heretics shook off some cobwebs. They even managed to steal this Baron. And then, yeah, just ran away with it, picked up the win. We move to Sunday, and it's XL versus Astralis. And first blood, well, let's just say Abadage got baited, went to Astralis. But then, Dragon was also picked up by them, while some kills were happening in the bottom lane. Herald was picked up by XL, and the game was kept a bit even. Astralis started taking over though, by getting that first tower. Then XL got themselves a kill lead, but let a Baron go. But let's be honest, in this situation, they didn't need it. A few minutes later, they got the win. And at qualification to the group stages, G2 versus Koi was next, and G2 already qualified. Koi still needs to get stuff done. First blood went their way at least. As did First Dragon. And Herald. Their objectives game was on point. G2 got themselves the first tower though, and that bit about being on point kind of changed. Baron was picked up by G2, and then minutes later, a lot of kills and a win. Heretics versus Fnatic was next up. Again, Fnatic had already qualified, or locked in, so they were just having fun, and have fun they did. First blood on the top lane. Heretics with a dragon. Fnatic got themselves the first Herald, which was nice. They just enjoyed it, and they used it towards the top tower. Let it go boom. Then they got themselves the Baron as well. Popioles just being used like candy. And a Mountain Drake, and with a 17 to 10 kill lead, a win as well for Fnatic. BDS versus Vitality. Vitality lose this, they go out. And oh, Vitality were getting themselves in. It was one of the cleaner games of the split. They got themselves a dragon as well. All good. Herald also picked up by them. All they needed to do is keep this going. Tower as well. Okay, they were behind on kills, but they were getting themselves the stuff that was needed. Pretty much got themselves back in, but BDS got themselves that Baron, and eventually BDS got the win, and Vitality are out of groups, or out of the LEC. Mad Lions versus SK is the last game of Sunday, and First Blood went SK's way. Mad Lions on a bit of a losing streak, and even though they got themselves the first dragon here, it's probably safe to say that streak was continuing. Herald picked up by SK, keeping things on parity. And they got themselves the first tower and decided to take over the game a little bit. One chrono break later, and Baron was also picked up by SK, and then the win. The chrono break was something to do with a Silas interaction that shouldn't have happened. Anyway, Monday, already out. Vitality versus already through XL. Well, Vitality were playing their game again, but XL liked their neutrals. Tower dive ended up underneath, with the first blood also going to XL. Dragon, though, was picked up by Vitality. Bottom tower, though, picked up by XL. And then, they kind of didn't look back. Just wiping Vitality off the map, getting themselves the Baron. And in one of their quickest games of the split, that dirty Kennen ultimate got them the win. Game 2, BDS versus Mad Lions. And First Blood went BDS's way, slowly. But it happened. Dragon also went their way. Just enjoying themselves. Herald also taken. Mad Lions' run of bad luck continues. They got themselves a top tower first though. So, you know, silver linings. But BDS got the Baron. And proceeded to get the win and destroy Mad Lions. Game 3, Koi versus Astralis. And one of these definitely needed to win. Astralis got the first dragon. The reason they needed to win is because they didn't want to have Destiny taken out of their hands. First Blood though went to Koi. Dirty Nico ults. Herald was picked up by Astralis though. But the first tower went Koi's way. Turns out gets some decent Nico pop Blossom ultimates and it changes the game. Baron also picked up by Koi. And, well, they got themselves one hell of a win. And locked in. G2 versus Heretics. Heretics fighting for third. First Blood went over to Heretics, which was nice. The Dragon went to G2. Just getting back into the game. They also got themselves the Herald. 10 minutes though, quite late. And the mid tower was the tower that dropped first for G2 as well. Heretics tried their best to get a Baron, but it didn't work. And G2, again after another chrono break involving Cassiopeia, they got the win as well. And the last game of the regular season of Summer, Fnatic versus SK, and well, First Blood went SK's way. Win and they lock in and take out Astralis. That was the stakes. Herald also went their way, as did Dragon. Fnatic were uncharacteristically being outplayed, even if they did get themselves a kill while a replay was going on. Well, even if the tower went that way. Baron went to SK though as well, and it was a sweep of objectives. And SK go through to the group stage as well. But who's going out with our predictions game? Well, here it is. It's Pinky! Pinky coin flipped its last objective. It shall be missed. But Stefan overtook Terry right at the end. He's there at 151, Terry at 149, D at 143, and myself at 141. But we'll wipe those scores, because it'll be time for the group stages in 2 weeks' time. So, we'll catch you in a bit. Toodaloo.